Is that you're a virgin to interview? Is this going to be like one of the first times?
This is my first one. Yes, sir.
Oh,
I'm ready. I'm
busting your
ready.
cherry, huh?
Yep. I'm
All
excited.
right, cool, man. Yeah, so this is just a conversation between two people in the hobby, basically. So wanted to get you on and see if I maybe learn some things we didn't know about you, I guess,
Hey.
or just introducing
Yep.
you to everybody on. I guess everybody has kind of their little card community, their views, their viewers and stuff. So maybe introduce you to some of mine that maybe don't watch you yet, hopefully.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so uh, tell me a little bit about yourself.
As in the hobby wise or just personally?
Okay, yeah, like what are your hobby pronouns? I'm a collector. That's my hobby
Oh,
pronoun. Do you? Uh,
I am a collector of many things. I would say that. I don't specifically a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Whatever I see, I pick up. I, I'm the type of collector that get into something, collect it for a year or two, and then find something else.
yeah,
That's
right.
my thing.
It's kind of like that saying, "I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none."
I am absolutely a master of none.
Right?
That
If that
goes
applies
without
to the
being said.
hobby,
Yeah.
yeah, there's so many niches. Same thing with me. It's hard for me to when people ask me like, "How do you collect?" It's like, well, I don't really have a way I collect. I do everything. I don't have a niche. I do
Absolutely.
a little bit of every niche, basically. No focus.
Yeah, one reason I want to talk to you when I seen you were into glass, and I collected a lot of glass for a couple of years. So yeah, I thought that was neat that you collected something besides cards because I collect glass and art and shoes and cards and a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I got Funkos. I got a ton of bobbleheads. For a while, I collected baseballs. Like working I work at a college baseball field and then I work at a major league baseball field. So every once in a while you'll find balls from BP or from anywhere with different stamps, from wherever the league or whoever. And I started doing that for a while, but it got to the point where I had literally like hefty bags of
It
baseball.
is
That's like
fun.
I can't keep going because that used to increase in size like pretty fast.
Yeah. My collecting is mostly 80s. I still enjoy it because it's fairly cheap still. So when I pick up something for myself, it's usually 80s stuff, old 80s wax. I like opening that, so I still like to buy that, open that. The stuff behind me, I still like buying that and opening it.
Yeah, there's different eras of people on YouTube. How long have you been on here?
Just over a year
See, that's
since
not
this,
that, yeah. Like
since
I remember.
December of 2022.
Okay, man, you're doing pretty good. Yeah, it seems like when I got into the YouTube scene, there was a fluctuation too. Also, like YouTube obviously was getting bigger. Started off kind of small, the card community. Then you just see it grow. Now it's like crazy big. But it seems like you would see it grow, and the people that were coming in at the time that I came in were coming in because oh, how cheap cards were like before,
Yeah,
when in the 80s, early 90s, Jose Canseco was too expensive for them, and now that hey, a raw one is $5. What? That was my
exactly.
dream card back then. It seemed like a lot of people were getting it because cards were cheap, at that
Yep.
time. And then obviously after 2020, people got into it because there was worth so much more.
And it's actually a good way. I got my cousin, and he's 7 years younger than me, and I got him back into collecting because he was able to buy all those cards he couldn't afford when he was younger. He could buy them now, so he got back into collecting this year. So
Yeah, that's
it's a nice
good,
way to
man.
get back into collecting, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I enjoy it.
yeah, like I started on Facebook and then I went to Instagram. You have other social medias too, right? You have a what, like a OnlyFans or not an
Yeah,
Instagram, right? You got an
yeah. I have
Instagram?
OnlyFans for dance lessons, and then Instagram. but I'm not real good at all the social media stuff. So most of my Instagram's just for people to contact me for the contest and stuff. But I post on occasion. I don't. This might sound dumb, but I don't know how to really use it. The Instagram and the Facebook and stuff. So
Yeah.
I stay off of it.
So it's no secret to anybody who watches him. Everybody knows that he dances at the end of his videos. Is it true that you were a stunt dancer for John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever?
I'm almost that old, almost, but no, that's incorrect. But I was a dance instructor for breaking in the '80s. Breaking,
No way.
And breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, I was a dance
Turbo
instructor.
and Ozo.
Yeah, I instructed those guys. Absolutely.
No way, dude.
Shabba-Doo. Yeah, that's where Shabba-Doo got his lessons from me.
Yeah, people want to see if are asking if they're going to see us do any dancing.
Probably not tonight. So
I there was a.
I don't get to see these comments that you have. So
yeah, I get to see them, but when you do it on the phone, it's not like on a computer where you could just access things. Like I'd have to go to settings to go to the comments. Like so,
yeah.
You'll see me go on and off. So I try not to do that. Oh, I think if I touch them, they come up on the screen though. Oh yeah. See, are we gonna see some dancing?
There we go. No.
Someone giving me some advice right here. You know, we got Victor Negron cards, Sign of the Pastimes, Double D, Shaka, Double Shaka. I don't know if you watch Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. He's a great channel to watch. He sells on eBay.
I'll check him out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he just got on Whatnot. So how you own a baseball card shop? Is that where you're at right now?
No, I did. I owned a shop. It was basically a shoe shop next to the college. We have a college here in town, but I wasn't selling enough shoes. All this stuff that I had behind me, I took to my shop just to add to the space. And then when I closed it down, I just brought it all back home and put it back up. So I sell online, and that shows. Yeah, I'm a retired real estate appraiser. I retired 2 years ago.
So people will hire you to go, like, say, appraise for their house, like if it's haunted?
Yeah, if it's haunted, if it's not haunted, if it's for sale, if they want to refinance. Yeah. Yeah, Donald Trump should have hired me. He wouldn't be in trouble.
He could have used some good advice, huh?
Yeah, he could have used some advice. Don't be stupid. Appraise your properties correctly.
Yeah, so that whole "don't be stupid" is that something you've said for a while, or is that just something? How did that come about?
Actually, when I owned that shop, I was surprised how many. I mean, from day one that I opened that shop, how many people just brought in cards and wanted me to buy them, and they would bring in just stuff from anywhere, in any time frame, beat up, destroyed, thrown in closets. And I just got sick of it and did a video. Don't be stupid. Stop bringing in your garbage. And it just took off. So, yeah, I just got tired of people bringing in stuff. Yeah, it never made sense to me as a brand new store, and people wanted me to buy from them. And they didn't want to buy from me. And that was kind of the reason I had to close the store. No one, it was more of a buy from me type thing. So, just didn't pan out. But, yeah, just came about by accident.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what made you get on YouTube? How did that come about? Were you watching it for a while? Like me, I think I watched it for a year before I was able to make my own channel up. How did you come about this?
I watched it for a little bit and was directed straight to like Jeff Wilson and some other people, and I was in my shop and getting bored, and my buddy's like, "Hey, you've always been funny, just do stuff. Let's laugh. Let's have some fun." So it started out like that. And then when I did that Don't Be Stupid, I got like a lot of subscribers, and they're like, "Well, let's try to see if we can't make it work." So we just been having fun with it. Nothing was like planned. It just all happened. When I retired 2 years ago, I just, I got the episode Wing It Wednesdays. I just wing it. You know what I mean? Whatever happens, whatever I decide to do that morning, that's what I do.
So your whole collection that you have right there, is that like kind of like a PC that you're selling now,
No,
basically?
I keep that's all mine. It's packs. I still like I said, I still open this stuff every once in a while. If they're not full, I'll still open up a pack whenever I get the itch. I still open it up. And when I get something, I'll get it graded and then I put it, let's see if I can do this. Put it in my cards over there. So that's my PC. I
Nice.
still, my PC's worth, you know, from a value standpoint, from like the money stand, it's worthless. My PC's all 80s stuff and 70s stuff. So nothing fancy. I quit collecting in 93 and started in 77. So that's really before they started like any expensive inserts or anything. So
Yeah.
really mine's all just base rookies and stuff that I grew up with, my heroes, my idols, my, you know, when I was playing baseball, who I thought I was, you know, that type of deal.
Yeah, like most of mine, like say all this, it might look fancy, but it's pretty much worthless. It's all the
Yeah.
80s, all the 80s tops, all the 80s Donruss. None of them are really valuable, you know.
But yeah,
So,
but it is to me, you know, I still got a
oh,
lot of sealed stuff that I think's cool. I got a lot of rack packs or sealed, you know, like sealed packs, stuff like this laying around. That's what I think's cool. It's like reminds me of being in the shop when I was a kid. We had a shop uptown, and this reminds me of it. So it's my
yeah. Like to
little
me,
place away from reality.
yeah, to me, this is like 30 years, you know what I mean, of sweat and tears, that of building this farm.
Yeah.
It's a,
Well, I didn't
it's
build my wall. I made my nephew do mine. I'm not very handy, but I made my nephew build my shelves.
yeah,
So,
this is a lot of love and labor that went into this, like 30 years worth. Like, I
oh,
started
just
when I was,
making, yeah.
when I started, when I was a kid, trying to put together like the 86, the 87, the 88. And the first year that I really, because of just how much money and how many cars I could buy, the first set that I ever finally put together by singles through packs was the 89, but it's something that I had did forever. And since then it's been collect try to collect every year. I was trying to collect all the sets, and then once I got a little bit more money, I wanted, like, well, you know what, I'm gonna try to finish all my 80 sets that I had as a kid. And back at that time it was pretty easy to complete these sets going to card shows. Like everybody
Yeah,
had doubles of 80s and 70s cards. That's kind
yeah,
of gone away. I'll see that at the national, but it's not every card show that I'll see,
yeah, but
that I could be able to
they're
go through somebody's doubles to try to complete a 70s set.
yeah, and most of the sets are being completed. They're like late 70s and prior too. You don't see many 80s sets being completed. Me and my uncle collected. Well, I basically say he collected them until 86. And then when I was 16, I actually started doing it myself, collecting the 86, 87 sets, 88. But then by the time 89, 90 hit, I just started buying the sets, started having kids, getting married, didn't have time to put them together. So I have a lot of complete unopened sets from like 90, 91, 92, never been touched, never been opened. So that's all over. I'll show you all that. All
Ooh,
my
look at that.
sets are down there.
So
You see
are
all
those
that?
shoes?
Yeah, these are all shoes from the 70s and 60s and 50s, Converse. That's my shoe collection.
Oh man, wow. So you're a serious shoe collector, huh?
Well, Converse I like. Here's my best pair from the 50s. That's a pair of baseball Converse. They're baseball shoes. This is how they used to make them back in the 50s.
Nice. So
So,
those are pretty much vintage, right? So
yeah, they're from the 50s and 60s and 70s. Like this pair here, that's the first line of Blazers from 1981. I've got a couple pair like that. That pair there's from 1984 Olympics. Just stuff like that.
Man, that's
They're
cool,
still-
man.
They're still kind of cheap, you know, the shoes, Converse. They're not like Nikes. They're not real expensive. So, yeah. Yeah,
But-
it's just my
So you-
studio.
But you said you used to have a sneaker store?
Yep. Yeah, I was buying and selling Nikes, Dunks, and Air Jordan 1s, buying those and selling them to the college kids. And man, it was fun for a year and a half, but it just didn't make any money, so it's closed it
Yeah.
down.
So I remember you gave away a Brooks Robinson autograph, and
Fun.
you said
Yeah.
that Brooks Robinson was your uncle. Is this true?
No, my uncle had it signed. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I still got a lot of autographs of old players that people don't know that were like me and his favorite players. We got them signed. Like Jim Perry, Ned Garver, Bill Landy. I got all kinds of autographs, just not a lot of the big time names. So, yeah, we used to get autographs in the 70s and 80s, and we still do. I did some videos. I got a friend right now, Max Muncy. We're going to see him whenever I can, get his autographs, get all the players on their for the Oakland Athletics minor league team. So we still go get autographs.
Is he going to be better than the Max Muncy on the Dodgers?
Absolutely. Kid's pretty awesome, I think. I think so, but I'm biased. You know what I mean? So you can't ask me, but he hits the ball hard, and the older he gets, he's only like 21. So the older he gets, the stronger he gets, the more he can jump. I mean, he's an amazing kid. So I wish him all the luck. That's for sure.
Can he hit the curve though?
Yeah, so can Jose Ramos. You seen that with the Dodgers?
Yeah.
So I've been following that kid too, and I think he's a pretty good kid. I think he's going to come up and do well for the Dodgers. You like the Dodgers or the Angels?
The Dodgers. The Dodgers are my number one team, but I mean, I also like the Angels because they're also my home team. As a kid, I went to both Dodger games and Angel games.
Yeah. So you know that Jose Ramos, don't you? You've been watching him, the shortstop. Yeah, he's doing well too. I like him too.
That's cool, man. So let me see if I have a. Oh yeah. So
I know I'm getting us off topic. I just talk and ramble on. So
no, we don't have a topic. Is it true that? So tell me about your workout. You work out?
No, I quit that in my 40s. I'm retired. I'm retired. I do nothing. I do nothing but I look at baseball cards and watch YouTube, and I mean, I eat healthy, you know what I mean? I don't eat sugars and candy, and I only eat protein. I'm on the keto diet, whatever. I've been on that for like 5 years.
Yeah?
Just meat. Yep. I only eat meat and vegetables. I don't eat
is that what the keto diet is?
Close. It's just all meat, I think, kind of. But I throw in vegetables. Wow. I eat green vegetables, but I don't eat bread, potatoes, rice. I don't eat nothing like that. I haven't in 5 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I gave up starches.
Yeah, I've always heard of the keto diet, but I had no idea exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think that's what it's called, the all meat diet, basically.
So what do you think about this PSA buying SGC?
I did a video today. I like it. I do. I try to think of things differently, and being an appraiser, I understand conformity and how it should help. I mean, if they do it right, but obviously PSA likes to screw things up. But if they do it right, it should be good. They should have the same consistency and grading. So, you know, if you send it to SGC, whether you like that label, or PSA, you like that label, it's going to be graded the same. And that's what should matter. And I was thinking after I did that video, when you get into the hobby and you're new, that grading just blows you away. So if you can simplify the grading and make the hobby easier for people to understand it when they get into it, I mean, it's complicated. You know what I mean? When I got back into it and they started talking about grading, I almost quit. I was almost like, screw this. This is rough. So not only got different kinds of cards, but different kind of grading companies, you know, and then you get on and people badmouth this company, that. So the more simpler they can make it, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess. Me personally, I don't really look for slabs. I don't send cards to get graded. I don't really care, so it's not a big thing to me. But being is like I almost see it from a third person point of view because I'm not into grading, but I do follow like people's comments and people. You know, everybody has their opinion. Like SGC has always been great, rated as the most accurate graders. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And PSA has its popularity because it's a little bit more lenient. And I've heard that quote. I think it was Ziggy that said a quote something like, "We don't want we don't want accurate grades. We want favorable grades." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and I get that. So that's why I think if they blend the companies and they do the grading the same, you know what I mean? Then you know. And I'm all for. I wish AI grading would take over somehow, but I don't know if that'll ever happen or they allow it
well,
to happen or.
that that's one thing I thought about a long time ago. I remember thinking, well, if we get to the point where all your cards are graded by AI, eventually you're gonna have that on your phone, and then you won't need a grading company. You could just grade a card with your phone.
That's true, and there wouldn't be nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, if you're using the same technology as they are, you know, take a picture and it analyzes it or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, and which maybe that's why they're staying away from it. Maybe that's why they're giving it such a bad name. It's because you're right. If they can have that technology, why can't you do the same thing with your phone? So yeah, but I just think the more simple it is, the better it is for new people. I know some of the hardened old school guys hate it, but I'm not old and hard school. I'm just old.
Well, I believe in fairness, and that's really the fairest way if everybody got graded exactly the same.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, because it goes from greater to greater to greater. You know, are they in a bad mood? Did they get drunk the night before? Did they fight with their wife in the morning? Did they, you know, what happened? So, are you bearing the brunt of their anger? So, yeah,
Right? He could have just stubbed his toe on his couch on his way to work, and his day was ruined, taking out on us.
exactly, exactly. So, yeah, grading's sketchy, but grading's important, especially when you sell online. I was one of the reasons I started grading. I was selling cards online. And I bet you 50% people complaining, wanted to send the cards back, saying I didn't describe it better. You go to grading, it is what it is. A 6 is a 6, a 9's a 9. I don't get any cards sent back. So from a eBay selling standpoint, it's really helpful for me.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't buy from eBay. I've never bought online, no COMC, any of that. I don't have that problem because mainly only buy in person. You know what I mean? So
Well,
almost
all the
every card I
cards,
buy, I'm buying it firsthand. You know what I mean? It's not
yeah, all the cards I buy for myself and usually to send out for grading, I buy in person, 95%. I buy them in person too. That's the only way you can really know if you're getting what you're getting.
right,
So,
and you
yeah,
can't complain. You were
no, no, and that's what I've learned. You know, it takes a good eye to find nice cards. You know, no scratches. You've really got to look them over nowadays. There can be a lot of things wrong with them that you don't just see by. Back in the old day, they were centered and ding corners. Now you got to tilt them. You got to look. You know, you got to be more picky. So if you're collecting the ultra modern stuff, you have to be more attentive to what can be wrong with it.
right, especially with the shine. I guess I mean fingerprints. That really wasn't a thing in the 80s and 70s. Like, oh, your
Yeah,
fingerprint, you know. But now with these shiny cards, it's like you're at a police station leaving your fingerprint on there.
yeah,
I mean, you
that's
can
it.
just you
I wear gloves when I open up expensive cards. Believe it or not, they're real expensive. I wear gloves. I don't like to touch them because my fingers are oily.
Right on, man. That's adding character to the card, though. That's probably how starts the greening process. You know what I mean? Like those old Topps Chrome basketball cards, the finest or whatever.
Yeah.
They get that greening effect, but every once in a while you'll see one that hasn't yet. But you wonder, will it?
Yeah. So when we talked a little bit before, you said that you work, which I really thought was great. You work at the ballpark, so the groundskeeper, right?
Yes.
And I've like I said, I've done many things in my life, owned many companies. I owned a landscaping and a lawn care company. We live up here in a bunch of lakes, and I owned a company, and it's a really cool trade. The way the way you can mow grass, stripe it. So I was really interested in what you do. So I'm sure you've told everybody on your channel, but I thought that was super neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's something I love. So you know what they say: if you love your job, it's not really work. It still is, though, but it still is. But I love it.
When I owned that lawn care company and that landscaping company, that's one of the reasons I bought it, is because I always would remember baseball fields being striped. And I thought, so I owned one for like 10 years. And always was on the guys about striping the lawns, making them look, green and white. And so.
Yeah, I used to work at a place called Big League Dreams, and they had 6 replica softball fields of MLB parks. We had a replica of Fenway, Yankees, and all that. And so there was 6 fields, and I would mow, and they would let me do different types of patterns and stripes, and let me go crazy. So I always had all kinds of badass patterns in the back on every field. They gave me the freedom to do that, and everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was like,
it is cool.
And David Meller, who's the head groundskeeper for the Red Sox, he was doing, this was when I was in school, and I had a contest for a scholarship, and I sent in all my pictures of all the designs I'm on the field, and he offered me a job to work in Boston, because they do a lot of crazy striping and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, I see all your work, like, but it was gonna pay like $8 an hour, and I had my family in California, and there was no way I could transplant them for that. And it was just for 1 year. It was just gonna be for the season, but it was in 2004, so I would have got a ring with the Red Sox if I would have gone that year. But he ended up referring me to the Dodgers, and I started working at Dodger Stadium. I'm on the game staff, so I just work the games basically.
Yeah.
So I'm not year round there. It's a side job where I just work the games.
And then you work the other place full time?
Yes, I've been working. Yeah, I've been working at USC since like 2006, but I've been working at Dodger Stadium since 2004.
Awesome. So you'll never get a ring with the Dodgers, huh?
When I first started working there, I think the deal was that we would get a ring, or we don't get one. We get to purchase an employee ring. It's like, smaller version of the actual ring.
That is what the Dodgers were never going to win.
Yeah, but so that was the census at first. And then I guess the last time that the union did a deal, that they took that out of the contract as like the Dodgers used that as leeway where we wouldn't get a ring. And so the year that we did win it, those were the terms, like the new terms, and we couldn't buy a ring.
Well, that sucks.
Yep. So I mean, they gave us a bunch of replicas, like the giveaways.
Yeah, that's still something to be close to. I enjoy ball games. That's about the only. I don't really go to football or anything, but baseball, they're still relaxing. What do you think of I really enjoyed it, the time clock in baseball.
Oh, as a groundskeeper, I love it. Yeah, because they started using it. They started using it in college baseball for a couple of years already.
Yeah.
And the difference was in college, the games are going like 4 hours, and when they put that clock in, they're going like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And MLB games, they usually used to go about 3 hours. Now they're going like 2.5
Two.
hours. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So as a groundskeeper, I love it that it's faster and I get to go home not so late,
Exactly.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I mean, you're going to get there. It's going to be done in 2.5 hours. If you want to go, don't want to drive home in the dark. I liked it. I know
Well,
a lot of
it,
old school people complain, but I liked it.
it's one of those things where the back in the days, if you ever watch games from like the 40s, the 50s, you see they like even the 60s, say a Sandy Koufax game or watch Mickey Mantle bat, like Sandy Koufax almost stays on the rubber, catches the ball, throws it again, catches the ball,
Yeah.
like they just keep pitching. They just didn't do all this walking around and getting themselves together and hyping themselves up or whatever they need to do. They just were playing baseball, and the batters weren't like walking around the box after every single pitch, and redoing, whatever. That's just the way it used to be. You
My
watch these games, these old games, and that's how fast they move. It's just
my
kind of
uncle tells me
it's gotten away from that, and we had to force it on it.
my uncle was a little upset about it because he can remember back when he was 10, 12, it was like a full day event. When you go to a ball game, you drive to the game, spend all day there, watch the game. He said in between innings, is more like stuff going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was more of a show. And he said, but it was like a whole day. He said, so when he goes and watches a game, he don't want it to be just 2 hours. He wants, so to him, it's kind of depressing. But he's
Yeah.
old school. He's old school from the 50s.
Yeah, and to each their own. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's why I say it from the groundskeeper perspective. That's my bias of why I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. So
All
what
right.
else do we got going? Any more questions? Anything you want to talk about?
No, not really. You have any questions for me?
Yeah, well, I guess it's your channel, so everybody knows, and I haven't been watching you, but 6 months or so, and we did talk a little bit. But what are you collecting right now? What are you after? What's like I said, right now I know I'm into my friend Max. I'm trying to collect a lot of his cards. What are you trying to get into?
Well, I'm trying to get the 61 Topps All-Star Sporting News Mickey Mantle. That's like the last card I need for my Mickey Mantle playing day set, besides the 52 Topps. I'm trying to get the Topps playing days era. So I don't have the 52 and I don't have that 61 All-Star Sporting News. So that's number one on my radar. But like I said, I'm sure if I look it up online, I can find it and buy
You
it.
can find it, but you're trying to
I
find
don't
it.
do that. Yeah, I got to run across it and the price has to be right, Or, sometimes being a collector, that's why I would be stuck in that situation where I see it and it's overpriced. It's hard for me to pass it up because I've been looking for it for 30 years, or 20 years, and I haven't found it. So to me, it's like I haven't seen that card in 20 years. Like it doesn't even exist. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I always try to, with me selling, I'm trying to, make a connection to the hobby. So that's why I'm collecting what I'm collecting, trying to stick, because I like to watch sports. And when I was a kid, that's what I did. Whoever I was watching, that's who I wanted the most. And so I missed out on a few years, but I'm trying to get back in, making connection to the hobby, not collecting, because my one side's all money. I'm trying to find, my collecting side too, something to collect, something that's not worth money, something that's just personal. So that's what I'm trying to do this year.
Yeah, man. I always thought you had a car shop, that was a real car shack in the back.
I did.
I was wondering, like, man, you never get any customers in there.
No, I did. And you know what? Sad thing is, even when I did have a shop, I didn't get any customers in. So it was, you would get, when I did sell stuff, I'd sell stuff, but it'd always be like on Saturday, and I'd get like 15 kids come in from the college all at the same time. and they'd all buy a pair of shoes, and then I wouldn't see no one for another week. So yeah, it if you don't have allocation, it's hard to get people draw people into your shops for
Yeah, you
cards.
have to have allocation. I remember that being a big thing when Topps kind of changed their distribution or
Yeah,
whatever. Everybody was saying about how unfair it was for people that don't have it,
yeah,
to ever get started on that.
yeah. But
But yeah,
I don't know.
there was a card shop that I used to go to that had this event called After Dark, and basically it was like all the high end collectors, and they'd open up the shop in the middle of the night, and everybody would be there drinking and having pack wars. And when I kind of got invited to it, and they told me bring a lot of money, you know what I mean? Just bring a lot of money. And I was like, all right, yeah, And to me, I mean, I borrowed and I stole to collect $300 to take, and to me that was a lot of money. But when I got there, I found out that wasn't anything.
Was
But
nothing.
all it was like it was pretty cool. That we had a big table and all these rich dudes all around it, and person will get up and say, okay, Topps Chrome, and everybody buys a Topps Chrome. So everybody buys one. So the owner, he's
Yeah,
making money off of this that way.
yeah,
But everybody then, okay, whoever has the highest price card wins them all, the whole thing. So it's pack wars like
right.
that.
What
And
year was
I was
that?
there for like about an hour and a half, and my $300 are gone. And that's with me skipping, because you could skip some. You know what I mean? So when
Yeah,
people be like some $300 packs or $200 packs, like, I'm not in that game.
yeah,
But yeah, like yeah, some guys were spending like thousands there, and I ran out 300 like in an hour and a half, and I found out like, okay, I gotta hack my
it's not for
wage,
you.
and I do not belong there.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
that's just
owner was
crazy.
like, the owner made a lot of money, would make a lot of
Yeah,
money those nights. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
Allocation, yeah. And they act like they don't make any money off of it, but they do. And not only that, it's a draw. It gets people in. And then, yeah, if you got allocation, it's easier to run a shop. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's easier.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
are going there to buy product, and if you don't have it, you know,
yeah. Even the local shops, when I visit them, I go and I try to do tours of them. I've done like 4 or 5. I mean, they'll tell you the only time that they're busy is when they get new product in, and they're busy, busy, busy until they run out. And then when they get new product, busy, busy, busy. So it's definitely an advantage.
yeah. I mean, hey, at least I can find cards at Target and Walmart again.
Yeah, that's where I get mine. I have nothing against Walmart. We have a Meyer here in our area, and they're always buy one get one half off, and that's the cheapest you can get them here at the Meyer.
Yeah, like, and it was rough. It was rough for me as a the last set that I was able to put together by packs was like the 2020 NBA Prism. That was the last set, like before, like I think it was
Yeah,
2020 or 2021. The one with all the big guys, big rookies in it at first. Um, who were they? Like John Moran and Zion.
it was 2019, 2020. Yep, yep.
Yeah. So that was a lot, because I would go to the Walgreens, I would go to the CVS, and they always had those NBA Prisms. So just kind of by chance, I ended up putting that set together because I could find those cards everywhere. When at the time when they were gone from Target, they were gone from Walmart. I just could not find them. But
No,
nobody really knew, I guess, at that time around the area that, all these places sell
CVS.
cards. Big Five Sporting Goods, they sell cards. You know what I mean? So
I
that
did.
Prism of NBA was the last one I was able to put together, because I was able to buy enough packs, scrounging around all these little places, and they had a limit on them where you could buy only 2 packs, a
Sure.
day. So
Yeah.
that's why I would go store to store and buy two all the way home. But so that was the last set I put together, because as far as baseball cards came, the shelves were barren. I
No.
just never found them. Anytime I go there, and if I ever by chance, like I've seen like 4 restocks during the pandemic boom and crazy stuff, and the lines are like super stupid long. You know what I mean? That by the time you get there, all the good stuff is gone.
Yeah, I heard people were fighting back then and everything.
Now,
So
yeah, it was pretty nuts, man. It was a pretty crazy time.
I got
But
so
then, like I
busy with
said,
work.
that's all in the way. Like things are back to normal now. It's like I was surprised that I could still find 2024 tops at Target. When
Yeah,
before they were disappearing in half an hour.
I got so busy with work for 2 years. I didn't buy any cards. I didn't do anything. Didn't but work. So I heard people were fighting over cards and everything, and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And that's the thing too is that right now they still act like they're still doing the protocol or whatever you want to call it. I guess that they built in 2020, 2021 because of the fights and stuff. And
yeah, yeah,
so they close it all up and they don't let you go in there and touch like, and you're like the only person there, but they won't let you grab one box or they can't give, it's like,
yeah.
I'm sure
Everything's been moved to the front of the store where I'm at. They used to all be back in the toy section, and now everything's up in the front. And yeah, made a lot of changes.
yeah. So, but yeah, like I find it like unnecessary now that they're still doing it the same way they did it back then. It's like, there's nobody here,
Yeah, there's no one fighting over them now. So
Yeah.
I think everybody realizes that they're just cardboard. They're not investments.
Yeah, definitely not the exact same market that it was as far as the boxes retail go, at least.
Yeah.
But even yeah, but that's just the way it goes, man. All right, man. Thanks for joining me. I'll
Thanks
let
for
you get back to
having
your
me.
life.
I hope that was informative. Like I said, it's my first time, so I
Yeah,
just
just
tried to.
flipping your cherry. It's not
I
that
know
bad, right?
it feels good. Feels
All right,
good.
man. Okay.
Appreciate it, friend.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks everybody for joining.
Yep.